What is up, guys? Yellow Gamer here, and today I am bringing you guys episode number 17 of my MLB 17 The Show 30-1 Rebuild series. For those who are new to this series, this 30-1 Rebuild series is a series where I try to rebuild each and every single team in the major leagues, ranked 30th to ranked number 1. So we're about halfway through right now. We're currently on the 17th ranked team, which will be the Tampa Bay Rays. So let's click on them, and let's hop on into this. So GM contracts, we normally do. We're going to turn that off. Continue to do what we normally do. Turn these to manual. Keep that one auto manage. Now, I just want to put this out there for those who requested it. For those of you who know, I commonly do a lot of rebuilding through the draft. So many of you guys were requesting to do a draft tip and tutorial video. I know the majority of you guys probably already watched that if you're looking for it. But if you are looking for a tip and tutorial draft video, I do have one on my channel where I go pretty in depth in terms of drafting. Just want to throw that out there for those of you who need it before you go asking for it, just so you know it's there. Regardless, we're going to take a quick look at the roster like we normally do, get an idea of what we're going to do, pick up a few free agents, then figure it out from there. So, pitching-wise, looks like we've got a few prospects down here. Two top 50s. We got Jose De Leon and Brent Honeywell. Both, let's check where they are on the top 50 prospect rankings. With us being Tampa Bay Rays, we have the shortstop who's number 11. Oh, Jose De Leon was right here. Number 7. Who else do we got going? We had one more. Brent Honeywell is at 33. So, anybody else just to fill it out? It looks like we got 3 top 50 prospects. One that's highly talked about is the shortstop. I don't know if it's Adams or Adames or however you would pronounce that last name. And then Jose De Leon appears to be very highly touted as well. So hopefully he develops. Now we have some pretty good player development here. It looks like Blake Snell has an opportunity to develop into a pretty nice pitcher too. Obviously Chris Archer's a pretty talented pitcher. This is a pretty solid pitching staff. We'll obviously add on to it by getting Ohtani like we normally do. Let's do a trade real quick to open up some space on our team so we can get a couple free agents. You guys wanted me to get free agents more out of necessity rather than just doing it normally. So I like Ohtani, so I'm probably always going to get him. Second base, we don't really need to get Yamada if we don't need him. But we don't really need to get anybody else, so I guess we'll get Yamada. We actually already have a full roster, so Ohtani will be the only top prospect that we get. Because you guys liked, I seemed like you guys liked it when I got free agents more out of necessity rather than just doing it constantly. I don't know if that's actually the case, but we're going to test that out. Regardless, once we get past the starting rotation, the relievers could be a tad bit better. This bullpen's not phenomenal, but we do have a pretty solid closer here in Alex. Is it Colome? I don't fully recognize a lot of these players, but I know Wilson Ramos is pretty good. Played for the Nationals last year, had 307. So if you can just bat 270 and up, that'd be awesome. I think out of a catcher. And a pretty solid backup here with Derek Norris at first base. We have Ricky Weeks, who I remember was originally a second baseman way back when, yeah, for the Brewers. It wasn't all that bad either. It's interesting seeing him over here at first base. That's kind of an area where we're going to need some improvement. I'm not a huge fan of him as our first baseman. Second base, I don't mind Brad Miller necessarily. We could probably get an upgrade there, but I don't mind him. Third baseman, I've always been a pretty good fan of Evan Longoria. I know he's a pretty talented player. So I intend on probably holding on to him unless we get some pretty nice trade value out of him. Shortstop, I like Matt Duffy as well as a few other prospects we have, so we'll just let this be for now. Left field, Corey Dickerson, I like him. I like Kiermaier, phenomenal fielder out there in center field and right field. I still like Steve. I don't even really mind that much of this team. A lot of it's just finding some star power, improving parts of the bullpen, and possibly letting the starting pitchers develop a little bit more. But I don't think this team is necessarily all that bad. But not a lot of trades to do here right from the get-go. So I'm going to do some scouting. Probably do the majority of my scouting surrounded about trying to find a solid first baseman and possibly a solid second baseman. So I'll be looking primarily throughout the infield, trying to find some talent there. And we'll see how that goes. I'll talk to you guys obviously once we get to the draft, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay guys, actually before we hop into that simulation towards the draft, I just found this trade. I was looking at top prospects, looking where Ohtani was ranked, and then it kind of hit me that obviously Bellinger is a guy, I think I traded for him like 5 or 6 rebuilds ago to start off a team. And I think he's kind of a perfect build for this team as well. We obviously need first base more than anything else. I like having a young one that could develop, and Bellinger being one of the top prospects, having a huge pop out of his bat. He's just a phenomenal player. And all around, just he's a 5-tool player at the first base position. That's pretty rare. I would love getting him right now. We'd have to trade one of our top prospects as well back, which would be Jose De Leon. Obviously, the Dodgers, known to have a very talented pitching staff, looking to bolster it a little bit more by getting a top prospect here. We'll add a very talented shortstop prospect here in Daniel Robertson. And then, I'm thinking we could add quite a bit else. I mean, we can add just about anything else and they'll accept it. It looks like literally just about anything, unless it's a really crappy player. So let's just get somebody decent. Sure. And then we'll do that. So we had to trade 2 pretty solid prospects in order to get one back. But I think it was worth it. Obviously, Bellinger being one of the top prospects in the game. He's got like high 90s potential. If he lives out to that, and he normally does, in a few years we could be having a mid to high 90s overall first baseman. And I think that'd be a great pairing with a few of these other hitters in the lineup. And then hopefully some of our pitchers develop as well. And I think we're definitely on the right track here. So I'll see you guys once we get to the draft once again. And we'll see if we can add some more prospects onto that list of talent we already have. Okay guys, here we are at the draft. I didn't really take a lot of time prior to this draft to show you guys some prospects we're looking at. I'll just show you once we actually get in the draft. But let me say, this is one of the first time it's ever happened. Wait, we have the second. I didn't know the Rays had the second worst record last year. Okay, never mind. This will be kind of interesting then. I did not know that. But what I wanted to mention real quick is this is one of the first times ever that I wasn't able to scout everybody I wanted to scout. It's not very common that happens. There's like 1 or 2 guys that I wanted to scout that I wasn't able to. And it looks like the Twins didn't draft the blue chip prospect that I like. So if that's the case, if you guys watch my scouting tips and tricks video, I told you that blue chips are usually the guys you want to go for. And usually if you got a lot of blue chips to pick from, which we obviously do because we are the second overall pick, you want to go with, we're already out of the blue chip section, you want to go with a position player prior to a pitcher because position players are a lot harder to find. And this third baseman is a baller, to say the least. Look at this. High 70s contact, or the 75 contact right and left, 70 power right, 75 power left, good vision and discipline, solid fielding ability, solid speed for a third baseman as well. The guy's a 5-tool player. He fits everything that you could ever want. Obviously, he plays the same position as Evan Longoria, which is something we'll have to figure out. But that's the best player on the board, and that's who we're going to get. We did also scout a lot of other very talented players. I just noticed that this guy, Jack Heller, super good catcher that I would have loved to get, because catcher is kind of a hard position to find as well. We found a really good one, though. But a few other guys that we found that were really talented. So let's go through the positions piece by piece. I know a lot of guys probably already got drafted that I scouted. Left field, I know we found a lot of talent. We got these 3 guys right here, but this one specifically obviously has an 80 potential, as well as a 2018 ETA, which is a phenomenal pick. We all have another great third baseman here. We already drafted one, though, there with that first round pick, so we don't necessarily need to get that right now. So I probably should go with the best prospect available, which would be Steve Backen, whatever. Backen, whatever his name is. Let's call him Steve. We still have a left fielder available, which is Ernesto Armas, who has phenomenal contact, phenomenal arm strength. This guy could be a solid left fielder for us. Check if there's anybody else. I think he's like the best guy that we have left. He is. I also mentioned that scouting video that I did that, like I said, finding position players is not easy. So after this third round, we might not have anybody left. I found a few really solid ones, but a lot of them got drafted fairly early. I was starting to notice. But let's see, anybody that I wanted to scout that wasn't able to. We're obviously looking towards position players first. Looks like just about all the good ones got taken. This is what I meant by this. Like a starting pitcher, there's still some guys available that still could be pretty damn good. So really what I'm trying to make aware to people when they're doing scouting is it is so tough to find a very solid prospect that's obviously a position player as well. It's pretty rare. So to have that blue chip that was able to go that second pick, if he ends up panning out, having some high potential, that'd be very, very nice. Now lastly, I guess we'll get a relieving pitcher. If these guys pan out, this could be a really good draft for us. So let's find out. And yep, this was a really good draft for us. Jeff Montero with 91 overall. So obviously there's probably some prospects that were a little bit better. There was a starting pitcher I was considering getting. Let's see if we can find him and see what his potential was. It wasn't Staples. Maybe I'll recognize it when I see it. Was it this guy? It's probably this guy, David Chon. He's really good. So yeah, there's a few that were a little bit better. But look, he's got a very all-around overall right now. Like all of his stats are pretty good. Low 90s potential. I think he's the type of guy who if he develops around the same pace as Bellinger, that'd be a solid corner infield piece to have with Bellinger. Montero and Bellinger opposing sides to that infield would be awesome. This back end guy, however you want to say his name, has phenomenal contact, good discipline, good clutch, good like more intangible type things. Great arm strength, great stealing. He can be a pretty solid player for us. Not really a power player, but that's alright. He's going to be the type of guy to get a few hits, maybe back close to 300 every year, and get some stolen bases along with it. So I'm looking forward to that. Ernesto Armas was a guy that we didn't expect to have huge potential, but I was hoping for a little bit higher than 80. But that's quite alright. We actually scored here on Robbie Wallstrom. This 80 potential, we had no accuracy on him. We just took a shot in the dark, and he actually was pretty close to a max potential. He's 88 potential. He's a lefty pitcher out of Texas. He could be a pretty solid pitcher for us, a good piece. Armas already has great contact as well, great arm strength. He has a pretty similar stat line to Beckhin. Both pretty similar overall as well, and they can be pretty decent. Now with the relievers, not a whole lot of talent, but this Michael Rogers guy is close to 90 potential as a reliever. So a pretty solid draft all around. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with how that went for us. Currently, we're sitting at a 28-28 record, which will put us about 3 games out of a playoff spot. But we're already moved up to the 12th ranked team, so let's give us, I think honestly, just give us 2 years, a couple more solid drafts, and we'll be good to go. So I'll see you guys once we reach the playoffs or off season, whatever we happen to reach. And we'll see how our record was. We'll look at some team stats, and then we'll look at some free agency moves and things that could possibly bolster this team a little bit more. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, we just finished the season at a pretty disappointing pace, finishing 77-85. Some notables: we got a pretty solid season out of Chris Archer. Looks like 16-7 with a 2.8. Was an All-Star as well. Alex Cobb played a little bit below standards. Odorizzi did pretty damn good. Blake Snell did god awful, 5-17 with a 6.5. Yeah, that's awful. At least he has potential to get better, but that's pretty shitty. And Matt Andries, however you want to say his name, did pretty damn good too. Bullpen-wise, some of the highlights, looks like Danny Farquhar, Tommy Hunter. Xavier Cedinho did very, very good, actually. Very good. And so did Alex Colon. Lineup-wise, Kiermaier didn't do that great, but I like him more for the defensive standpoint and what he can bring to us. I mean, 99 fielding, 99 arm strength. I'm not going to really find that anywhere, so I like that. Steven Styles Jr., Corey Dixon. This was a very unimpressive lineup. Only one guy batting above 252 and 2 guys batting above 250. This is probably one of the most unimpressive batting seasons in history. Probably last place in team rankings for batting average. Really, there's teams worse. There's a team the White Sox average a 229. Okay, makes me feel a little bit better about our shitty team. Bellinger's now the 3rd best prospect. Ohtani's there at 5th. Other guys, I don't know. We traded what's his face? He's still up there. I think we traded. Was it Hoffman? No, it wasn't Hoffman. We traded somebody. We still have Willie. So we have 3 top 10 prospects. That's pretty good. Obviously, no team would complain about that. But we'll sim the postseason. I do also want to mention that Bellinger, somebody you probably mentioned. I kept him down in AAA. I want to let him develop a little bit more at a pace that makes sense for him. But he is injured right now with a bulging disc. And I don't know what that is. It could be easily misconstrued for something else. The Cubs defeat the Tigers in the World Series. But I guess he'll be back next year. We'll let him play some Major League Baseball next year. But we need to hire a few coaches. We need to do some free agency acquisition. So I'm going to do all that. And then we'll get into the open market to get some free agents. So I'll see you guys once we reach that point. Okay, guys. We just got to the open market. I signed basically everybody I wanted to. A few notables that I didn't sign. I didn't get Matt Duffy back, who wasn't really bad for us, but he wanted, like $4 million a year to be a platoon hitter. It's not necessarily worth it. And a few other guys who are just looking for a bit too much money for their talent. So with that being the case, I think I did a pretty good job making sure we had a lot of money left over. But I don't know if this is necessarily the free agency class where I want to spend money. I mean, McCutcheon would be pretty solid, I guess. Coming off actually a pretty good year, where he kind of bounced back to what his normal standards were, hitting about, about 290, 28 home runs, 94 RBIs, with over 100 runs. Don't know if we could expect that same level of production, but he's only looking for about 10 million a year for a guy like McCutcheon. I wouldn't necessarily mind doing that. And it will only get him until he's about 33, so there shouldn't be much of a decline there. In his talent, I don't know if he'll perform up to ability, but 10 million is not like we're really risking a ton of money. And he can probably play at least pretty close to that level. With us losing Matt Duffy, we don't really have a shortstop anymore. So I wouldn't mind getting a guy like Asdrubal Cabrera for maybe just like a 1-year deal for about... we can go 2 years for a little over 4 million. Just get a couple years so we can just have some stability there until we maybe find somewhere else to shortstop. Third base, obviously Longoria can take that position. Brad Miller's there. I don't want to give Kensler a contract when he's 35 years old. Bellinger's obviously on the up and up there at first base. I like Wilson Ramos. I think he batted pretty damn good last year, if I remember. We already have Colomb, who did pretty good, so I'm not going to offer him $10 million contract a year to Craig Kimbrell, although he is a very good closer. Relieving-wise, we could get some talent here. I wouldn't mind giving about $5 million a year here to Pedro Strop. I don't know if we want to give him for 5 years, though. He's 32. Let's look more towards, like a 3-year deal. For a little bit more money, like 3 years, close to $6 million a year, I think that sounds good. This guy's only 21. He's already a 75 overall. Yeah, we can give you a 1-year 50. Yeah, I'll give you that contract. We can obviously get Arrieta as a starting pitcher, but he's already 32. I don't know if I want Arrieta. 90 overall. Him and Archer could tear up the league a little bit. I know they're pretty damn good. Well, okay, we won't... I just don't want to dump all my chips into one basket and get Arrieta when I don't know if I want him as bad. If we can get him on a cheap deal, like this, like minimum what he wants, 19 million a year, rather than what, you know, crazy people would give him like 23, 24. If we can give him this, 5 years, 98 million, or if we can give him 3 years, 60 million. So 20 million a year. If he'll accept that, I'll have to look into it. He'll obviously be a... Well, we can give him a player option, I suppose, if it increases the interest that much. If he accepts that, then we'll have him, and then worst case scenario, we'll use him as trade bait. But all of these should make some pretty good impacts for us. We can't afford Jake Arrieta, actually. We're not going to get Strop. We will get McCutcheon, though. Confused by Pedro Strop. Oh, he's getting some huge deals. Okay, I'll just give you some stupid contract. I'll give you the same amount of money the Angels are offering you, and just see if you decide to come here instead of them. I wouldn't mind that. We can't afford that. I'm surprised why we're so far under budget. Oh, they're trying to do a prospect trade. 1-for-1 Buxton for Bellinger. That's actually a very interesting trade, and it's not... What's interesting is not necessarily a bad trade, but I wouldn't trade Bellinger. Although Buxton's obviously a better fielder and better speed, but his hitting is nowhere on the level as Bellinger's, and we need a first baseman pretty bad, so I'm not going to get rid of him. So we can't afford that contract, apparently. So hopefully Asdrubal signs. Let's see. Yep, and then that's basically all we need to do for this free agency. Got a few pieces. Each year, if we just get a couple more pieces to the puzzle, we'll be fine in just a few more years. We'll figure it out. And I like Jeff Montero. He's only 18 years old. I didn't even realize that part. 18 years old to be this talented is very impressive. So I mean, we'll sim to about rookie draft time next season. I think we'll do one more rookie draft because I wouldn't mind bolstering this prospect or this. I wouldn't mind bolstering our system a little bit more, our farm system a little bit more. But I'm gonna get that over with. And I'll see you guys once we're actually at that next year's rookie draft. See if we can get a few more top-notch prospects. With our record, we could be looking towards a top 5 pick or so. So we'll figure it out. I'll see you guys once we get there. Okay, guys, here we are currently at draft time. I do want to mention real quick, this draft class was pretty ass. We have the 11th pick here, so I doubt we're going to get our hands on top of any solid blue chips. I know this guy was pretty solid, this shortstop. This blue chip prospect was pretty good, the Jose Perez. Looks like the Braves got him. So we're stuck here with almost nobody to draft, and that's not even necessarily because I didn't scout. It's just because we really had that bad of a draft class. Almost all the talent was directed around the first base position, and that's where I found these two guys, Edmund Thompson and James Rucker. So right now it's primarily just a decision between these two guys. I mean, more important to me is whoever has the higher potential and the higher ceiling. And obviously that's something that I don't really know yet. Hopefully both of them are available when both rounds, but that's something I don't know. But we'll go with Edmund Thompson. He appears to have some more pop, I guess, a little bit more power, a little bit more all-around ability. Who knows? He's a little bit faster. I don't know. They're pretty much similar, just one's a little bit better in this area, one's a little bit better in that area. James Rucker ends up getting taken here to the Colorado Rockies. So, I mean, we'll take a look and we'll see if we made the right decision. Usually I don't. To be honest, sometimes I just really don't. I just get unlucky with which one had the higher potential. But that's really all we found in this draft. This was a pretty god-awful draft class for us. And it actually worked out pretty good with the first baseman. Thompson's got 88 potential, which is about as high as it gets for a non-blue chip prospect. Looks like my team naturally scouted some other pretty solid prospects as well, so we'll sign these guys. This guy's pretty good too, Garrett Richards, the center fielder who's not the pitcher. Not the pitcher, Garrett Richards. Let's go to the Colorado Rockies. James Rucker's at 89, so he had one potential higher. Whatever, I'm not going to trip about that. Evan Thompson was one overall higher, so I guess, but their stat lines are very similar. Like, really similar. But Evan Thompson's a bit more all-around. Hopefully he develops a little bit better. Although the potential's one less. Hopefully he still gets a little bit better. A little bit quicker. You just never know. But we're going to continue to sim this season. We're currently at 30-30. 4 games out of our divisional spot and 2 games out of our wild card spot. But we're currently moved up to 8th ranked. So we're constantly taking steps in the right direction. I say after the season we could probably move up a little bit more, top 3, top 5. So I'm going to see you guys once we reach the postseason. Hopefully we are one of those postseason teams with the opportunity to move a little bit there in the postseason. But we'll find out in a second. I'll see you guys once we reach that point. Okay, guys, we just finished the season at 75-87. Pretty similar to last year's standing. Let's look. It's still a 9th ranked team. We're still not bad. We just 17 games out. Yeah, we were nowhere close to a playoff spot. We just got on these huge losing streaks that randomly were just killing our team. Actually, simming through that, we're going to look at some things. McCutcheon played phenomenal. 299 batting average, 28 home runs, 86 RBIs, 84 runs. He did exactly what we could have hoped that he did. Moved up to a 90 overall. Chris Archer, 14A with a 3.61. Still very happy with that performance. Kiermaier batted 250. Not the best, but that's all right. Longoria, 234 he's been struggling. Last year he batted 235, so we're going to need that to go up. We're going to need to see some 250s, 260s at least out of him. Alex Colomb had a phenomenal year. Cody Bellinger, look at his stats increase. He's getting like really good. Plus 12 increase to power versus lefties. Batted 270 with 27 home runs in his rookie season. And 19 stolen. He almost had a 20-20 year in his rookie season. I have no complaints about that. He's going to be really good. I'm not worried whatsoever. Odorizzi 8-3 with 3.51. That's awesome. Dickerson only batted 232, so I don't know what's going on. These guys are batting really bad, though. Wilson Ramos batted 263. That's unacceptable. Otani, rookie AM15 with a 4.08. That's pretty bad. Blake Snell bounced back from last season. Not really ERA-wise, but the win-loss record's a lot better. Brent Honeywell is a guy who probably will be in our rotation next year. It looks like they didn't play. And Matt Andrees. And yeah, he's going to definitely play next year then. But these guys are developing, so we got a few A potentials. Like almost our whole entire rotation is going to be A potentials. All pretty young guys. I'm liking it. Xavier Cedeno had a pretty bad performance following a great year last year. Danny Farquhar did great for us. Brad Boxberg did all right. We got Fernando Rodriguez in the Rule 5 draft. He did pretty awesome for us. 1-0 with 3.31 ERA. I don't mind that at all. That's pretty good. Pablo Mesa, that guy we just randomly got. He doesn't look like he's really getting anywhere, but I gave him a chance because I knew he was young. Let's see, who else did we not look at? Brad Miller, 200 batting. That's just so bad. How about his dribble? 262, 23 home runs. Okay, that was a pretty solid free agency pickup too. Pay $5 million a year for that production. I would do that over again. And Willie Adams should be better than his dribble by the time that contract ends, so it actually time out just about perfectly. Corey Dickerson, yep. Ernesto Armas. I'm gonna check how these guys did in their respective minor league teams. I'll start doing that next year. But both him and Steve Becken are both improving pretty quickly. Both becoming pretty solid players for us. So we could have a pretty solid outfield there pretty soon. We already do, but some more talent there would be awesome. But no, I'm actually liking this. How Steven, he did pretty good as a backup. He still had 500 at-bats. I don't know how that happened. We were just mixing and matching at-bats with everybody, I guess. Somehow all of our outfielders got close to 600 at-bats. Don't know how we did that. I guess one of them probably just DH'd. But no, we got a lot of young talent there in a lot of our backup positions. So we're really looking forward to seeing how they all develop. Looks like almost our whole entire AA roster was an all-star. That's pretty cool. Our AAA roster is kind of the same. Very, very good. Very, very happy with how this went. I'll see you guys once we're actually in the open market once again for free agency, or we'll look at who wins the World Series real quick. It will be the Giants defeat the Indians, and we'll start doing some. Obviously, we need to re-sign some players, and then once the open market comes around, hopefully we can sign a few big name guys. But we'll just have to see how much money we got left over once we get there. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, here we are in the open market. The only player we decided not to re-sign was Nathan Eovaldi. Got just about everybody else who wanted back for a pretty good deal, pretty good price. The only guy we paid maybe a little bit too much for is Wilson Ramos, who we gave $8 million a year even after a pretty poor season last year. I just expect him to bounce back a little bit stronger. So with that being the case, hopefully, obviously he steps up a little bit. We'll figure it out though. Outside of that, looks like there's some talent here on the board. We got Manny Machado, who we can move to either first base or shortstop. I wouldn't mind a shortstop improvement. I think right now it's primarily just finding star power. I think our team's very nicely, it's a very nice all-around team. We just need star power. I don't know if we have the money to get star power, but we need star power. We do. So with that, we could get some awesome relievers. That would also definitely, you know, that would definitely be a step in the right direction. Getting a guy like Andrew Miller. Don't know if we can. He wants the same as Trevor Rosenthal. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that then. I wouldn't mind getting a guy like Andrew Miller. And then obviously we'll give a max deal to Machado. I have no idea if we have that type of money. We can't afford Machado's. We can afford Andrew Miller, however. So if we can afford him, you're not. Oh, it's because everybody's got a max deal, so I don't know if we'll be able to even get a name in. Yeah, we won't. So another pretty uneventful free agency. I guess we'll probably have to do more rebuilding trade-wise, is what I'm assuming right now. Which might not be bad, because we have a lot of young talent on our team. We have a lot of potential that we could turn into some big-name players, I'm sure. As Jeff Montero's getting a lot better. He's close to an 80 overall already. He's only 19 years old. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely figure it out. Obviously, not really a lot we can do in this free agency because we have no money, which is weird because I've made sure to be very stingy with contracts, but it's just not working out for me to this point. But I'll see you guys in the next season. Probably about mid-season next season. We'll probably do some big trades. Don't think we need to go through the rookie draft again. Already have a lot of talent, a lot of young farm system talent. So we'll just go to mid-season, probably do some trades and figure it out from there. Okay, guys, we're a few days from the trade deadline, and we're currently at 46 and 51, but we're the third-ranked team, which I don't get. I don't understand how the simulation and our rankings obviously so skewed, but gotta sign if you draft. I let our team do the draft. Looks like they got some decent players, though. Let's just sign these guys so you guys know who they are. But in terms of talent, our team is getting a lot better. I mean, Montero's a 91 overall now. Cody Bellinger's a 94. Ohtani's an 89. Longoria and McCutchen and Kiermaier are declining a little bit. They're getting a little bit older, but I mean, McCutchen's killing it again. Odorizzi's at 86. Snell's at 85. Honeywell's at 84. These guys are finally reaching their potential. Honeywell, okay. Oh, this is gonna be. That's embarrassing. Nobody say anything. He's been in the major leagues the whole time. Wilson Ramos is 84. He's batting 254 though. I don't know exactly what to do about that. Colom's actually always doing pretty god awful. How about Cedeno? He's doing good. 1.91 ERA. He went to an 80 overall. Willie Adames went to an 80 overall. Corey Dickerson dropped to an 80, so he just keeps getting worse. Which is sad, because I like Corey Dickerson. Steven Salz is kind of the same story, but he's batting 293, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But we got some top-notch left fielders coming up the woodworks right here, and Moss and then Steve Backen, so I'm not worried about. We can just trade Dickerson pretty soon. Adames, though, we might give him a major league chance. Let's look at some top prospects. We got to be up there. Oh yeah, Willie Adames number 1, Honeywell's number 3. 2 of the top 3. I mean, Steve Backen's 18, so we got some guys up here. Definitely got some talent. Can't believe Montero's improved so much. He's batting 301 this year. Him and Bellinger are becoming pretty similar players. They're both very all around. Might trade Longoria as well then, because we have Montero. We might get rid of Longoria. We might package him with somebody else to get like a really, really good player. You know, let's just hypothetically put that out there. See what we'd get if we package Longoria. Well, first let's put Longoria out there and see. Let's see what could we do? Oh no, I'm not gonna trade Montero. I would trade Dickerson, but it would do a dumb. I don't know if I want to trade him though. We'd have such a baller infield. We just need a second baseman, but Adames, Montero, and Bellinger, a few more years, all those guys are gonna be high 90s overalls. It's gonna be so sick. Maybe I shouldn't be going for Kershaw. Maybe that's kind of jumping the gun a little bit. Jean-Carl, how's he doing? I don't know if I like the batting average. I like Starling Marte, but we have Kiermaier, so it's a tough trade to do. If we added Kiermaier, we could do that trade easily. Wouldn't mind Josh Harrison. We need a better second baseman. Okay, that's a trade we'll get back to, maybe. Take Kiermaier out. Chris Bryant is now that's a star. How about Rizzo? How's he doing? Doing bless me. He's doing great as well. Chris Bryant can play a lot of positions. Let's just see what we can do to get him. Oh. Whoa. Chris Archer. They were getting carried away now, weren't they? Oh, they're jumping the gun on Honeywell. But I know he's a really good prospect. That's why I don't know if I want to trade him. But I'd get Chris Bryant. Maybe we should just be smart. It's usually a good idea. Maybe we should just be smart and patient. We can get Javier Baez. We need a second baseman more. It'll be easier, and then we don't trade any of our prospects. We let our prospects develop. We let them run free. And in a few years, if we do that, we have probably the best team in baseball rather than trading away those prospects. I mean, we should just be smart about it and try to hold on to as many. I trade away the prospects like quick. We can use Wallstrom because we already have a full team of prospects here. But I would love seeing all these guys develop and having like just an absolute stacked year where he win like 120 games. Because honestly, with this team, that's something that could be done. We could trade Edmund Thompson. That's one prospect I have that we could use more as trade bait because we have Bellinger, and the only other positions we play are corner outfield, and we already kind of have that filled out. If we did that, we would need to use a different player as well to try to push the envelope and have him be, you know, actually convinced to do this. This is just tough. We'll keep moving on, but I like the thought of getting Javier Baez. Goldschmidt would be awesome too. Freddie Freeman would be really cool. We just need a first. Oh, Altuve's a solid second baseman. It's just these things are. Oh, Rougned Odor. We can do Stevenson. Oh, and we get And this is another very solid project to add to the list of guys we have right now. Yeah, they'll do that. Okay. So we did lose. I know that's kind of tough for Rays Nation to lose Longoria. It's kind of a weird. But now look at this infield. We got Cody Bellinger, Rougned Odor, Jeff Montero, and Willy Adames. And all these guys, give them a couple years. Most of them already are there. I say in 2 years, this whole entire infield, besides Wilson Ramos, who's our catcher, but the whole other parts of the infield are all mid-90s overalls. And that's going to just tear up the whole league, especially if we keep Kiermaier and McCutchen and those left fielders out there. We're going to have such a solid team. So we're going to sim to the end of the season real quick. See if we somehow make a playoff push. I don't know if we'll be quite able to do so, but I know next year is going to be really good. Just looking at the potential of our team and how they kind of reach that year where they're starting to develop really quickly. Next year will at least be a good year, but we'll finish off this year, see how it does. But I like the way this team's foundation is looking. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, we just finished the season at 80 and 82. I do have to admit I'm slightly disappointed because I thought we could have maybe pushed for a playoff spot. But there's definitely some reasons to be excited. So playoff-wise, we finished 8 games out. But we do have the first-ranked team now. So next year I already know it's going to be solid because we're only getting better also. But if you want to look at some talent, just get ready for this. So we have Kiermaier, as usual, didn't really bat all that great. That's okay. But Rougned Odor batted 273, 32 home runs, 99 RBIs. If you could just keep that pace, that's an awesome stat line. I don't mind that at all. Cody Bellinger with a 285 batting average, 36 home runs, and 91 RBIs. That's also phenomenal. You won't see me judging that. Montero, however, ended up finishing second in American League MVP voting with this phenomenal stat line right here. A 309 batting average, 42 home runs, 112 RBIs. This guy's like a future Hall of Famer. He just did that at 19 years old. Like, just put that in perspective. That's so incredible to be this good at 19 years old. And he's only getting better. His potential is going up really quick. But hopefully he still has some room to develop. Obviously, when we drafted him, his potential was 91. So it might not get any better from here, but I hope it does. We're going to Odor's hopefully on the pace to get it quite a bit better too. Corey Dickerson's still having a pretty tough year. Looks like he's only getting worse. So we probably will replace him, trade him, or do something with him very soon. Because we have some other left fielders to replace him. He's got plenty of years left on his contract. I don't want to pay for him. Struble had a pretty awful year to finish it off. And with this being his expiring year, I'm assuming this is... Okay, my recording just randomly cut out, but back into what I was saying, Wilson Ramos now had a pretty decent year, but I was still hoping that he would have one of those seasons where he batted like 290 like he did the first year, but that hasn't happened since. He's been kind of batting around 260 the past couple of years, but $8 million contract with him. I don't know if we'll get a better catcher than him, though, so I'm in a bit of a tough situation. McCutchen batting about 301 to be exact, so he had a phenomenal year. However, he didn't get all the at-bats or touches that I probably hoped that he would have, because he got benched for about 40 or 50 games of the season. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if it was due to injury or something. But didn't quite play as much as I wanted him to, although he did pretty damn good. And then Willy Adames, we call up at about mid-season. So in the second half of the season, or the last 60 games or so of the season, was able to put together a 280 batting average. So he did pretty great. Wasn't really a power hitter for us. Only had 2 home runs and 200 at-bats, which isn't really that impressive. But did get a great batting average. And with his development, if he can get somewhere in the high 80s by next year, this whole entire infield, like I mentioned, will be phenomenal. So once again, we're going to sim the postseason. Dodgers defeat the Red Sox. I'm not really worried, though. I think next year's our year. I feel pretty confident. Drupal Cabrera actually retired for us, so we don't have to consider re-signing him. We kind of, he's making the decision for us. But either way, we're going to re-sign all of these big guys, but we obviously have some big free agents for this year. McCutchen's a guy that I'll have to make a decision on, but we might give him maybe 1 year or 2 years just to see if he'll continue that pace. We'll figure it out, though. I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, here we are back in free agency. We signed everybody we wanted to sign, but I gotta say, right now, I don't think we have any money. Ignore my cat in the background. He's in one of his temper tantrums. But if we're taking a look, oh my goodness, we're taking a look at our team right now, and we're going through our starting pitchers. Developmentally wise, they're looking very good. If they develop just a few more overalls by next year, we get some of those guys in the 90s. We'll probably have one of the best rotations in baseball. We primarily have to work on maybe trading for a few relievers, which is something I might look to do next season. Catcher-wise, like Ramos, Bellinger, like I said, all these guys are going to develop. But you guys know the team already. I don't even need to show you guys. The team looks phenomenal. Is primarily the point of this. If these guys get better than Dickerson, I'd be happy to let them get some playing time there in the major leagues as well. So, don't know if we have any money for relieving pitchers, but we need them. And this is a pretty decent relieving pitcher class, so we'll see. Do we have any money for any of them? Oh, we do, actually. It didn't say to any of them that we can't afford them. We got Clippard. Didn't get Will Harris for some reason. Did he already sign some? Yeah. We got, okay, so we got 2 solid relievers already. Okay. I can respect that bullpen a little bit more now. We still might like to get 1 very good reliever, maybe trade for like an Andrew Miller or something, just have 1 phenomenal reliever. We'll try to do that at the beginning of next season, so I'll see you guys once we reach that point, and then we'll do a sim, and I'm pretty confident that we'll make at least the playoffs. So I'll see you guys once we reach that point. Okay, guys, we're at the start of the regular season, and I got a trade here I'm looking forward to doing. We're going to trade one of our prospect catchers here, Justin O'Connor. Trade our prospect left fielder, Ernesto Armas, because we have Steve Bakken, who I like a little bit more than Armas. They're very similar, but Bakken's a little bit better at fielding, a little bit faster and better stealer, although Armas is the better hitter. I'd rather have the all-around ability of Bakken in left field, so we're going to let him stay there and trade Armas instead. And we're going to trade the right fielder with talent, Jake Bowers. That's because we got McCutcheon on 2 more years. So we don't necessarily need Bowers, because I don't think he's going to get all that much playing time regardless. So, and we're going to do all that for Andrew Miller. And with that, our bullpen should be quite a bit better. I mean, I'm liking it. So we're going to sim to about mid-season. I'll show you guys some stats of our team, and then we'll sim the rest of the season. I'm thinking, though, we have to be at least, we have to be at one of the best teams in the league. Like one of the top 3 records, I have to assume. But we'll see when we get there. I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, here we are at mid-season, 60-30 currently, which puts us at the 2nd best record in the league, 1 game behind the Dodgers, who are the 2nd-ranked team. We're the 1st-ranked team. We're 7 games. We're gonna make the playoffs. I'm pretty confident in that. Award-wise, Rougned Odor is 1st in MVP voting. Jeff Montero is 3rd. Mike Trout's 2nd. Montero actually won MVP last year. No way. He actually won the MVP in his 2nd year. He just said he was 2nd, but he actually ended up winning it, I guess. So Montero went to a 97. Oh my God, look at this team. The whole first page is 90+ overalls. I've literally never seen that. I've never created this good of a team. Bellinger's 99, Odor's 98, Montero's 97. Look at Montero's almost has 99 in every single offensive stat. Batting 341 with 25 home runs. Bellinger's batting 306 with 25 home runs. Rougned Odor's batting 336 with 32 home runs at midseason. That's at midseason. Now, the one guy who was... I'm totally getting ahead of myself. What if we can get Mike Trout on this team, though? Could you imagine adding him? Because I'm trying to create, like, the most OP team ever. So we'll add Kiermaier. We'll add Dickerson because we don't need him anymore. Are any of these guys pitching bad? Let's see. We traded out Dickerson and we did somebody else. Well, not him. No, I think we might. Oh, Andrew Miller would be able to send it. Okay, Andrew Miller has a 4.4 ERA. So I will, in fact, trade. I don't mind trading him because he's not doing good for us. So if we do him, Odorizzi, he's a solid pitcher, but we'll just replace him with a different trade. And Kevin Kiermaier, who's batting he's not doing that bad, actually, hitting-wise. It's the best hitting year he's had all. But, I mean, we get Mike Trout. So, yeah, no, we'll do that. We'll get Mike. Oh, no, they wouldn't do it. Do we not have the money for it? We're going to have to find money somewhere. Okay, never mind. Yeah, no, we're not going to be able to trade for Mike Trout. Maybe that'd be a little bit too overpowered anyways. Is there anybody that we could, like, trade for that's still really good? I mean, Giancarlo's doing pretty damn good for us, or for his team. Well, we could actually do this. Because Andrew Miller's not doing good, so we could put Giancarlo out there in center field or move McCutcheon back to center field where he once originally was. Have Giancarlo in right field. No, we can't. Okay. Is it the money? I'm assuming it's probably something to do with the money. Yeah, see, we can do Derek Norris because he makes way more money. Okay, so with that being the case... Oh, no, they did do Malik Smith. Wait. Okay, no, I'm confused. I guess we didn't have to trade Derek Norris. We just had to keep sending it in over and over again. And eventually, we just annoy them, and they say yes. So now we can move McCutcheon back over to center field. Where's it 86 overall? But he should be starting, so he shouldn't be upset, right? Just make sure. Yeah. Playing every day. Okay, we're good. In that sense. You know, relieving might not be quite as good, but they're still having a... I mean, it's still been fine. So, we're going to spend the rest of the season now. I'll see you guys once we're in the playoffs. And we should see quite an interesting year with this team. So, I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, we just finished the season winning 108 games, going 108 and 54. I'm going to go with the assumption that that was the best record in the league. But not by much. The Dodgers won 107. So, it looks like it's almost a clash of the tie-ins. It's looking like it's bound to be the Rays and the Dodgers in the World Series, but you never know. Baseball's one of those sports that's actually a bit more interesting, a bit harder to predict. But look at this. We have the 3 highest home run hitters in the American League. In fact, the 3 highest home run hitters in the major leagues, and Willy Adames is down here in 6th, and Giancarlo is down there at 9th. We probably have the top 3 guys. Yeah, we're going to Odor won MVP, but we probably have the top 3 guys for the MVP award. Honestly, we probably did. Let's just look. Willy Adames batted 290 with 39 home runs, 95 RBIs. We're going to Odor batted 310 with 50 home runs, 126 RBIs. Jeff Montero batted 319 with 49 home runs and 123 RBIs. Cody Bellinger batted 319 with 52 home runs and 119 RBIs. Giancarlo batted 297 with 35 home runs, 96 RBIs. Corey Dixon batted 274 with 32 home runs and 95 RBIs. Andrew McCutcheon had 280 with 22 home runs, 92 RBIs. Logan Morrison batted 234 with 22 home runs and 67 RBIs. And Wilson Ramos batted 241, 14 home runs and 50. So let's just look as a team, or team rankings, first in batting average, second at bats, first in runs, first in hits, first in doubles, fifth in triples, first in home runs by about 80, by 84 to be exact, first in RBIs by about 110. I bet our issue is definitely more towards the pitching side, I'm assuming. First in slugging, first in on base, first in total bases, first in play appearances. Let's see, ERA, this is where it'll be a bit more interesting for our team. 18th, complete games, 4th actually. Shutouts, 26th, that's not that good. Saves, we're tied for 2nd though. Blown saves, we're tied for 21st. So had he not blown as many saves, we'd be 1st, but that's okay. Hits allowed, it's kind of whatever at this point because we score so many runs. Let me just look up real quick the most home runs by a team in history, because I have to think that we beat that. I have to think. Most home runs by a team in a season. Will they have? Do you think they have that stat online? Who knows? Yeah, no, it looks like we crushed it. Most home runs in a season by a team. It says in the AL it's 264, in the NL it was 249. We had 317. So we beat it by about 50 home runs. So the Cubs actually got close to the record, but we just absolutely blew it out of proportions. Wow. That's crazy though. That's crazy to think about. That we blew out that record by that much. But either way, now it comes down to playoff time. So let's see how this goes. First game against the Red Sox, we lose. Second game we win. Third game we win. Fourth game we win. We actually got shut out in the first game though, which is quite impressive. That's something that David Price has to get some props for. It pitched 7 innings, only give up 3 hits the whole game to us, to our team. That's very impressive. But I mean, we got our payback, so I'm not that worried about it. Against the Mariners, we lose, we win. Lose, win, win, lose. So now it's Chris Archer versus Drew Smiley. So let's see how this goes. And we win 6-2. Okay, there we go. I'm surprised he even got down to that being that close, though. That's the crazy thing. So up to this point in the playoffs, let's look. For us, we got Ragnar Odor, Corey Dickerson, Cody Bellinger. These guys aren't actually batting all that phenomenal. Montero's struggling big time in his first playoff appearance, batting 122. I'm sure he'll turn it around in the World Series, though. Ohtani's doing great. Blake Snell's doing pretty good. Chris Archer's doing a bit below average. Same with Honeywell. And Odorizzi's actually yet to pitch a game, which makes sense because when we have these 4 guys, why would you let Odorizzi pitch a game? Bullpen-wise, Rosmo Ramirez has 7 innings pitched and no runs given up. A lot of these guys haven't given up a run. Alex Colom's not doing that phenomenal. And Matt Andrees and Fernando Rodriguez probably just never touch a baseball again with the way they're pitching. But we're going up actually against the Cubs. So we're going to have to check what happened to the Dodgers and when did they get eliminated. Because I'm interested in that because they won 107 games. So I want to see. They got swept in the first round after winning 107 games. If I was a Dodgers fan, I would be pissed. But in the World Series, we're going to win Game 1, lose Game 2, win Game 3, lose Game 4, lose Game 5. You're not going to tell me after a 108 win season that we're losing in the World Series, but we're about to find out. Okay, we're going to win Game 6, 5-3. And now Game 7, we have Chris Archer and Kyle Hendricks. Okay, we're going to load in. We're going to do our normal quick manage. Chris Archer. Okay, we'll let Chris Archer pitch. You got to love this lineup. This lineup is crazy. But I do have to say real quick, I'm very surprised that's even come down to this. Because when I was actually going in the playoffs with this team, 108 wins, deep down I was kind of thinking we might actually be one of the first teams, I think the first team, to ever sweep through the MLB playoffs. I thought we actually had a chance to do that because our team was that good. But obviously that's not the case. We've been really battling. Had to go to 7 games against the Mariners, 4 games against the Red Sox. We haven't even swept one opponent yet. And obviously that's not going to be the case because now we're in Game 7 at Tropicana Field, trying to close out this World Series. I guess whether you sweep or you go to the next game is possible. If you win the World Series, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But it's pretty cool bringing home an opportunity to win at Tropicana. I think that's pretty cool. But we do have to remember, this Cubs lineup is nearly as talented as ours, so we got to be pretty careful. So we're going to get a pop-up, a fly-out, and Chris Bryant's going to fly out as well. So now with us up to bat, remember, our lineup's phenomenal. So let's see. Pop out, a walk, come on Montero, strike out, Bellinger, fielder's choice, and we're not going to get anything going that inning. Rizzo's going to strike out, Schwarber's going to strike out, and Contreras is going to ground out. I expect a pretty high-scoring game, to be honest. I know Kyle Hendricks is the most impressive pitcher, so I'm hoping we can get some big hits. Giancarlo Stanton's going to be walked. Corey Dickerson's going to hit a 2-run home run. Now, Andrew McCutchen strikes out. Logan Morrison doubles. Wilson Ramos pops out. And I'm not remembering his name. Is that his name? Whatever. Adames is going to a ground out. But either way, we're going to get a walk there, a strikeout there, a strikeout there, and a fly out there. So I'm actually really enjoying Chris Archer on the mound up to this point. Yet to give up a hit. Looking very, very good. Cody Bellinger is going to get walked. Sean Cole is going to strike out, though. So now with another chance with Archer up on the mound, he's going to get hit by a pitch. Going to strike out Chris Bryant. Rizzo's going to fly out, and Schwarber's going to strike out. That's what I'm talking about, Chris Archer. Dickerson's going to get a single. McCutchen's going to fielder's choice. Okay. Logan Morrison's going to strike out. Wilson Ramos is going to ground out. So still a 2-0 game. Contreras will strike out. Happ will be walked. Eddie Martinez will strike out, and Pinavar will also strike out. So 5 innings and no-hit baseball for Chris Archer. Willie Adames will be walked. Fernando Odor will ground. Oh, a double play. Montero will hit a single, though, and Cody Bellinger will be walked. And now Giancarlo will hit a single. 1 run will score. Dickerson will get a fly out. Man, if we didn't ground the double play, that could have been a very big inning for us. Either way, a fly out there by just Hayward. Jimenez will ground out, and Chris Bryant will hit a single. Oh, deep down I was hoping Chris Archer would get a no-hitter. That would be so crazy. But either way, it's still just 3-0, so I can't get carried away. Still a very close game. But McCutchen, pitching change there. Carl Edwards Jr. will be, or Carl's Jr. will be pitching. And McCutchen will get a single. Logan Morrison, a fielder's choice. Now Morrison's on first. Wilson Ramos will ground to double play, though. And that will end the inning. Now Wilson Contreras on the mound. He will get a single. Or he, up to bat, he'll hit a single. Martinez will try to get that double play, but it's now a single. So first and second now. A strikeout on Hayward with a double. 2 runs will score. And a walk. Ooh. Let's get a pitching change. Let's get a pitching change. We need a righty on the mound. We'll let Rodriguez pitch. Oh no. 2 more runs score. And a walk. Get out of the fucking inning. Okay, thank you. Now Carl's Jr. back up to mound. Or back up to pitching. Actually, they're going to switch out with Brian Morris. A ground out by Adames. Odor will be walked. Montero will hit a 2-run home run to tie it right back up. Cody Bellinger will single. Giancarlo will pop out. And Dickerson will fly out. So, a chance here to hopefully just keep it tied. And yeah, we're going to do just that. So now in the bottom of the 8th, McCutcheon up to bat. Fly out. Logan Morrison's going to fly out. And Wilson Ramos going to ground out. But I don't mind. That means in the bottom of the 9th, we got our stars coming to bat. Rizzo's going to fly out. Schwarber's going to ground out. And Contreras is going to fly. Could you imagine a walk-off home run in Game 7 in the bottom of the 9th? Thomas will strike out. Odor with the solo home run in the bottom of the 9th. And that will be the way the Rays win the World Series. I can't believe Rougned Odor hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th inning in Game 7 of the World Series. Oh my goodness. Almost everybody in our lineup got a hit besides Adames and Ramos. Everybody else did at least decent. Stanton, Dickerson, Montero, and Odor most notably did very, very well for us. So I'm very happy with how this game went. 3 big home runs to really give us a chance in this game. Archer pitched a pretty good game. Could have been better. Just one bad inning really was all it is. But able to come up big there in the last couple of innings was really what our team needed to do and exactly what they did. So we're going to walk out of here as champions. Another successful rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please click that like button below. Make sure to comment your opinion of the series and what I could do to make it more interesting in the comment section below. And lastly, subscribe if you haven't already to stay tuned to this series and other series I've got going on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.